All right, all right. I think I'm live. So, I think I am live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live. All right. So, we're going to share this stream. I was trying to rotate, but anyway, so we are live here tonight. So, it's already nighttime here on this side here in Nairobi. So it's about 12:30 a.m., almost 12:30 a.m. So anyway, guys, so it's been a while since I've been on live stream, so it's good that I come on tonight. So sac passé, what's going on? So it's good that I come on live here tonight and just talk about a few things, my experiences traveling on the continent, my experiences here in Kenya, and so yeah. By the way, if y'all have any questions, feel free to bring in your questions as well. All right. So yeah, we are live. We are live here in Kenya. Of course, I usually don't go live often, so most people may not get this notification as we speak. But at any rate, it's all good. So how's the live stream? Are you able to see me well? You able to hear me? You able to see me? I'm just chilling on the couch. I'm just chilling on the couch right now. So yeah. So yeah, we are live. Listen, first and foremost, let me just talk about the weather here in Nairobi. They're like 2,000 meters above sea level here. So it's cold. And right now, this is the winter here in Nairobi. So it's very cold up here. So I'm still adjusting to the weather because, I don't really like cold weather like that. I mean, it's cool, but it's not my forte. You know what I mean? So, we are adjusting to the cold weather here in Nairobi. Listen, y'all, my journey in Africa right now has been like, it has been one of the best. One of the best, So, yeah, I mean, I'm just glad to be able to travel to have the privilege to be able to travel. So yeah, um, I've been in Kenya for almost 2 months now. Wow, like if somebody would have told me I was planning to be in Kenya for like 2 months, I would tell you you lying. Coming into Kenya, I mean, I knew about Kenya. I hope you guys can still hear me because I was getting a call. But I hope if you can hear me, let me know because I have this phone on do not disturb, but it still allow calls to come through. All right, perfect, perfect. You can hear me. All right. Listen, yo, I mean, I'm just smiling right now on this live stream. Yeah. If somebody would have told me I would be going on 2 months in Kenya, I would tell you you lying. You know what I mean? But coming in here, finding my place, finding a rhythm, connecting with the right people, I would just say, I'm just blessed, I'm just grateful, to be able to have the experiences that I'm having here in Kenya. When I first got here, it was like at the heat of the protests and demonstrations. And so having to have gone through a lot of those experiences, and then now of course I would say it's a bit more quiet. Not only that, in recent times I had like some family friends who travel from the US. They came to Kenya, they reached out to me. We were able to have some great experiences. And so, I mean, you could not plan a lot of these things. You could not plan them. And so, yeah, my experience so far in Kenya, I would say, has been great. Just learning the culture, learning the way of life. And the funny thing is this: some people who are living here in Kenya, in Nairobi, and other surrounding cities, like I even know more places than some people who's been living here all of their lives. I would say like I'm very sociable, and so being able to connect with people, going to different places, it's great. And so it's a lot to really learn about Kenya. And I would say that, and not just Kenya, any country really, it's good to hear about certain things on the internet or to read about it in books, but to be live in action, to be 10 toes down on the grounds and having those experiences is different. And so, yeah. Anyway, so are there any questions? Any questions in the chat room about my experience in Kenya so far? I mean, the food is great. I mean, it's a very tough competition though between my experiences on the west side of Africa, and Senegal and the Gambia versus Kenya when it comes to the food. I would say it's a very tight race. But I would say so far, I definitely like the food in West Africa a lot more. I would say I think they have a lot more variety. Yeah, but for someone who is also like maybe vegetarian, you would find it eating here in Kenya very easy also. It's a very tight race, I would say. It's a very tight race. Um Granted, I haven't gone to Mombasa, which is the coast here in Kenya. And of course, the coastal regions tend to have a lot more variety than the inner regions. So I cannot fully write off my complete grade for food, given that I haven't experienced the coastlines. So yeah, food is great. The people are great. I would say like my experience here, the mindset of people are very entrepreneurial minded, and so it's a lot of movements that happens here in Nairobi. Yeah, I really like that. I would say like maybe in the Gambia, I would say life is a little bit slower. Like the pace is a lot slower. But yeah, Kenya definitely has a faster pace, even though, I mean, I guess it just depends, but in comparison to some other countries on the continent, Kenya is definitely faster as far as the pace of business, the motion, just the motion of life is a lot quicker here. So yeah, I mean, being here for 2 months, I've been on like I would say four different parts of Kenya, like Nairobi. I've been on like four different corners within Nairobi region. So yeah, I mean it's great. I mean people here, I mean there's diversity, I would say, when it comes to culture, but for the most part, people's tendencies tend to be similar, I would say. Like on the west side, when I was like in Senegal, Gambia, there's definitely diversity and culture, but you can really see like you can see it like right on the open. Like the different tribes, you can see like what makes them who they are. Just like for example, when I was in the Gambia, I went out in many occasions and you see the different dancing, the music, the styles, it's different. And so I mean here you would have to like go deep in order for you to really see certain things. Like you guys have seen me in Maasai village, for example. And so you would have to go inside the Maasai village, in order to witness or experience like the unique way of life of the Maasais. And so the same thing, like you have different tribes, you have Kikuyus, you have to go like within their day-to-day lifestyle infrastructure to really see it. But like when I was, for example, in the Gambia, I didn't really have to go inside of like for example, okay, like the prominent cultures, let's say within Senegal, Gambia, you have Wolof, of course. You have the Tukula, which is Fulani. You have Sere, okay? And so I didn't necessarily have to go into these unique villages in order to see those particular unique people, like what makes them who they are, even on the surface, because the culture is so strong. Like you can tell, like, oh yeah, this is Fula or this is Wolof or Mendinka, for example. They speak their languages within the social market. So someone who speaks Wolof may have to, let's say, if they go to certain parts in the Gambia, even though it's like still the open market, they have to speak Mendinka because most people there they speak Mendinka. So or Fula. So, but here you don't really see that too much unless you actually go inside like certain areas where certain people are predominant. But most people just speak Swahili or English. And so yeah, I would say that that was one of the things that I've come to see when it comes to like the comparison between my experience in Senegal, Gambia, and Kenya. So, but there's a lot of similarities between my experience in the Gambia and Kenya in the sense that both countries actually speak English. So, I think that's why I ended up spending more time in the Gambia, or even find it easier to live in the Gambia. Communication was a lot easier, was a lot more fluid. Like when I was in Senegal, even though I wanted to stay in Senegal longer, but getting into the inside, it's like it was a big language barrier. And so Kenya, I find it very easy, like Gambia, where they already speak English there. So it wasn't like difficult. So yeah, are there any questions? This is a very quiet live stream tonight. So those of you coming on, I want to hear some of your questions. Okay, which country do you think a first-time visitor would have an easy time settling if someone wanted to move there permanently? Okay. I mean, visiting and moving permanently are two different things. Um, Let me start with visiting because I think that's probably my most experience in a lot of those countries. I would say it depends on the person's background, their social experiences, language. Like for example, let's say if someone was, let's say, from France, or they come from a background where they can speak French, I would say they will find it easier a little bit to go into like French speaking countries in Africa because they will have an advantage. And so, but let's say you speak English. Like for me, I would say my English is stronger than my French speaking. I had to learn French and Spanish in school. So I would say that I find it easier to maneuver in English speaking countries. And so I would say for a visitor, it depends on your interests. You know, let's say someone is more into history, you want to learn about, ancient Egypt, and you want to visit the pyramids, and of course I would say go to Egypt. I had a great experience in Egypt. And most of my time in Egypt was like I was on some like learning tip. Like I spent like hours inside the museums. Hours, like until my batteries, my camera batteries were done. And I went to like multiple museums. You know what I mean? So I went to the Nile River, which is a very historical. So for a first time visitor, let's say you went to that kind of history, hieroglyphs, then I would say Egypt, of course. But then again, let's say you're into like culture, like dance, music, then I would say West Africa, when it comes to that. So if you really into like dancing, colors, art, music, then I would say West Africa. Senegal, like they're very big when it comes to like expression, like art, music. So even though they do have a little bit of like, um, safari type excursions, but it's mainly the art, similar to the Gambia. Is the art, the culture, the music, the dancing, the various instruments like the kora, the drums, the like you see like unique structures of instruments in the Gambia. So and that stems all throughout West Africa, going into Benin, going into Togo, Ghana, Nigeria. It's just the art, the everything that encompasses artistry, from music to everything. And so it depends on your interests. But then here on this side of East Africa, it's just the landscape. Like, boom, it's just right there in your face. Like the mountains, just the greenery, like the luscious greens. You see so many animals, giraffes, monkeys, antelopes, rhinos, buffaloes, lions, cheetahs, leopards. I mean, I don't know if East Africa is able to compete with West Africa when it comes to artistry, when it comes to music and dancing, and I don't know if they're able to maintain that level of competition. But when it comes to like the landscape, the safari excursions, the beautiful waters, the beautiful lakes, you know, the open roads. Like East Africa is a different beast when it comes to that. It's just it's just there, you know what I mean? So it depends on your interests, you know? It depends on your interests. So okay, so living there permanently. I mean, when it comes to living somewhere permanently, I've spoken to a number of people like from different backgrounds that have moved from, let's say, the US, that has moved from Canada and other Western countries and moved to Africa. Moving somewhere permanently, even if you speak English, I don't think just that in itself is that might be one reason, but when it comes to moving somewhere permanently on the continent, I think you would have to personalize it more than just the language. You know, it depends on you as an individual, your interests, and how are you able to facilitate your lifestyle within a particular region, you know? So, yeah. Um, because then again, living somewhere permanently, you have to assimilate to and adapt to the way of life. So, sometimes it can take time, you know what I mean? So, someone can like for me, for example, like when I first came to the continent, I thought that my best country that I would have the best experiences in, I thought it was gonna be Senegal. You know what I mean? Just from the outside looking in, like, okay, but most of my best experiences came from other countries, even though the country that I actually thought that I would have the best experiences in, on paper it looks like it, but the reality is, it was like, you know, I mean, later on when I began to find more community and connect with more people there, it took a while. Whilst like being like going to Egypt, for example, even within like a couple of days, I was already like assimilating so well, like moving around. Even at that time, even though I didn't have a phone because they stole my phone while I was in Barcelona right before I go into Egypt. Even without a good phone to communicate at all, I was still able to have great experiences in Egypt within just a few days. You know what I mean? But if I had those similar experiences where I went into Senegal and I didn't have a phone, like life would be so hard, you see? But I actually wanted to have the similar experiences in Senegal, but it just didn't happen. So what I'm saying is sometimes you just have to have those experiences for yourself and then you will see. Because I can say, okay, if you speak English, find like English speaking countries in Africa and then go there and then you find that even though you speak like they can understand you, you just don't find it easy to assimilate. But then you go to another country where they seldom speak English, but then you just find yourself connecting with the people on a different level. So it has more to do with just just how you received and how you also receive other people, your personal interests, you know? It has a lot to do with that more than just looking at it on paper. You know what I mean? Like, okay. So that's what I would say about it. Yeah. So those of you coming in, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear you guys ask me some questions. In recent times, I was taking some survey questions as to which country you guys would like to see me travel to next. Some people are saying South Africa, Angola. Those were like the main two. But like even South Africa, it's like very popular. But I haven't really found a deep interest within South Africa. So and then I thought that I would actually visit Tanzania before I even come to Kenya. Like way back in 2020, I was actually planning to travel to Tanzania, but it just never happened. So, and even to this day, I've been in the region for like almost 2 months and I still haven't made it to Tanzania. So, and also, I would say people have like different styles of traveling too. Some people, they just hop from country to country. Like they might spend 3 days here, 1 week here. So it depends on your style of traveling too. That will determine how you come about as to where you want to live permanently if you would move to a different country. So yeah, are there any other questions? Those of you coming in the live, don't forget to like the live stream, give it a thumbs up, give the video a like. So I'm just sharing my experiences here and the beautiful continent of Africa, here in Kenya. Kenya is a beautiful country. Like, I mean, I don't know. I might be biased. You know what I mean? I mean, it's hard for me to be biased. Like, I mean, Kenya is a great country. Like, it's a great country. Like, every country have their challenges, but I think it's great here. And I've been able to like connect with locals. I don't really go to like the tourism places like that these days. So so yeah, I hope I answered your question though. Your questions. Are there any other questions? So this is a live stream. I'm doing it on my phone. I'm sitting on the couch. It's kind of late here, almost like 1 a.m. So it's very late on this side. Are there any questions? Any other ones? Let's interact. Don't forget to like the video. Okay. I want to take some questions, some comments. Talk to me, guys. But yeah, so I'm not gonna be on here for a very long time on this live stream, but it's good to be on. We have people watching from different parts of the world, from the US, from Asia, Caribbean, Africa, Europe. So, okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap up the live. If we don't have any more questions, we're gonna wrap it up. So once again, guys, thank you guys for watching Kixkeya Global Village. And so this is a live stream sharing our experiences here in Kenya as well as other parts within the African continent. So we're taking questions, comments. So I'm gonna pause once again for another maybe few more seconds. And then we're gonna wrap it up. It's already very late on this side, so but anyway, guys, I see you guys in another live stream. Thank you for watching Kixkeya Global Village.